APA style, citations and references. APA style is the required format for citations and references in educational research and scholarly writing, and in all courses in the School of Education and Human Services. Here are some general guidelines for citing sources, adapted from the 7th edition of the American Psychological Association Publication Manual, 2020. Cite the work of authors whose ideas have influenced your work. Cite sources of facts and figures that are not common knowledge. Citing a source implies that you have read the article, book, etc. Don't cite work that you have not read. Cite one or two of the most representative sources for each point you make that is influenced by other work. Avoid secondary sources if possible. At the very least, use these sparingly. If unavoidable, use this citation format. Doe, 1992, as cited in Dear, 2012. List only the secondary source used, Dear, 2012, in your reference list. A better option is to find the primary source, Doe, 1992, read it, and cite it directly. In this case, include this primary source in your list of references. To the extent possible, cite the most recent scholarly work. The rule of thumb is to cite work no older than 10 years, unless it is a seminal work or theoretical work on your topic. Paraphrasing and quoting are often the source of much confusion among beginning researchers. Here are some rules of thumb. Paraphrasing involves using one's own words to express an idea that another author has proposed. However, paraphrasing is more than just changing one or two words of a quotation. When paraphrasing, be sure to include a citation of the original source material. Note that APA does not require a page or paragraph number for paraphrased material, unless the information is so important or complex that the reader will probably want to refer to the original work. For the purposes of this course, you are strongly encouraged to try to summarize information in your own words, while at the same time giving credit to the original authors of the work. Paraphrasing is preferred to quoting, unless a direct quotation is necessary to convey the author's point accurately. If you must quote, restrict the direct quotation to the main point of interest. Avoid unnecessarily lengthy direct quotations when possible. Any material that is quoted directly should be reproduced word for word. Place quoted material of fewer than 40 words within quotation marks. Quoted material of 40 or more words appears as a freestanding block of text, indented approximately 1/2 inch from the left margin. Do not place the indented text within quotation marks. Page or paragraph numbers must be provided for all direct quotations, regardless of the length of the quotation. Follow a quotation with the author's last name, year, and the letter P for a single page, PP for a quotation that runs across multiple pages, or para for the paragraph number of a quotation in a work without page numbers, followed by the page or paragraph numbers in parentheses. Attend to punctuation. Example. One researcher notes, few things are as important as a good education. Genius, 2018, page 100. Note that the period follows the parenthetical citation for a quotation with quotation marks. However, a block quotation ends with a period, followed by the parenthetical citation. When citing sources in the text, note that each source cited in the text must appear in the reference list and vice versa. The last name of the author and the year of publication are included in citations in the text. Do not include the title of the work within in-text citations. Do not include author first name or initial in the text or in citations unless there are sources with different authors who have the same last name. If your discussion of a paraphrased work continues for several sentences in a paragraph, cite the work only once at the beginning. Recite the work if its discussion continues into a new paragraph, or if your initial paragraph discusses more than one work. Follow a single author's last name with the year. Do not include initials or first name. Here are two examples. A study conducted by Genius, 2018, found that teacher satisfaction was positively related to salary. Or, one study found that teacher satisfaction was positively related to salary. Genius, 2018. Note that these two formats are equally acceptable. Both include the author's last name and year. For two authors, use both authors' last names, no initials or first names, and the year. Here are two examples. In their landmark study, Blinken and Nod, 2015, discovered that listening to loud noises during testing impairs students' performance. Listening to loud noises during testing can impair students' performance. Blinken and Nod, 2015. Note that the word "and," not the ampersand, is used when the author's names are used as part of the sentence. The opposite is true when the names are part of a parenthetical citation. For three or more authors, in all citations, use the first author's last name, no initials or first names, with et al., followed by a comma and the year. Be sure to put a period after all in et al., since all is an abbreviation. Here is an example. Principal et al., 2012, suggest that school administrators have great responsibilities. When citing multiple sources, two or more sources within the same parentheses should be ordered alphabetically. Here are some examples. Several studies, e.g. Brilliant, 2019, Mediocre, 2013, show. Note that these references are separated by a semicolon. If two or more sources by the same author are within the parentheses, order them by year. Examples. Past research by Genius, 2013-2018, demonstrated that teachers are happier when they are paid more. Some of the most compelling work in this area has shown that teachers are happier when they are paid more. Genius, 2003-2018. Note that these references are separated by a comma. Finally, you will construct a reference list. The reference list will be easy to construct if you have created an APA reference for each of the sources you abstract. The reference list should start on a new page and have the word References centered in bold font at the top of the page. Here are some tips for constructing a reference list. Order sources in the reference list alphabetically by the first author's last name. Include all authors' names up to 20 authors. For sources with more than 20 authors, use et al. At the end, after the 20th author's last name. Use hanging indent format for each entry. This involves the first line being left aligned and the remaining lines being indented 1/2 inch. Note that the APA manual requires inclusion of digital object identifiers, DOIs, or retrieval URLs. Only include the retrieval URL for source material that does not have a DOI and that was not obtained from a database of sources, such as ERIC or PsycInfo, or read in print. The words retrieved from are not necessary. Do not include a period after the DOI or URL. Periodicals include journals, magazines, and newspapers. Note that the article title is presented in sentence case, meaning that the first letter of the first word, proper nouns, and the first word after a colon are capitalized. All other words are in lowercase. The journal title, uses title case, meaning that the first letter of each major word is capitalized. Journal title and volume number are italicized. Issue number, if available, is presented in parentheses after the volume number, non-italicized. Note that all examples, including DOIs and URLs, where applicable, are fictional and have been created for the purpose of illustration. Dear, J.M., 2012, The Role of Cyberbullying in Student Well-Being, Journal of Topical Issues in Education, Volume 157, Issue 8, pages 389 to 400, https doi.org 530. Genius, I Am, 2013, Salaries and Satisfaction, Journal of Common Knowledge, Volume 6, Issue 1, pages 100 to 115, https doi.org 123. Genius, I Am, 2018, Educator Retention in Texas, Factors That Matter, Journal of Obvious Findings, Volume 5, Issue 10, pages 1000 to 1015, https doi.org 456. Winken A. and Blinken B.C., 2015, The Impact of Music on Test Performance, Annals of Music and Education, Volume 12, Issue 3, pages 300 to 306, https doi.org 789. Books and book chapters. When citing a chapter, include page numbers. When citing an entire book, no page numbers are required. For an edited book, note that the editor's initials appear before the name rather than after. Include the publisher. Place of publication is no longer required. Book titles and chapter titles use sentence case. Book titles, but not chapter titles, are italicized. Books that do not have a DOI do not require a URL if they were accessed in print. Here are some examples. Brilliant, RU, 2019. Education, It Is Worth It. Academic Press, https doi.org 1011. Mediocre, YMI, 2013. What is Wrong with Education? In A. Winken, B. C. Blinken, and D. Nod. Editors, Controversies in Education, pages 240 to 250. Scholarship Publishing. Sometimes you might need to cite a source that appears on a website. These sources follow a similar format to print publications. Include the author and date of publication, year, plus month and day if included on the website. The web page title uses sentence case and is italicized. Include the website in title case unless the author is an organization that is the same as the website name. Include the URL at the end of the entry. Do not include retrieved from before the URL, and do not include a period after the URL. Here are some examples. Principal, IM, Teacher, UR, and Student, BA, 2012. The Roles of Educational Stakeholders. Found in the Association of Educational Experts website, http www.ae.aedexp.org. Organization of Expert Educators, 2020. A Guide to Becoming an Expert Educator, http www.experteducators.org. Additional recommendations. Although you may wish to rely on software such as RefWorks or EndNote, which create APA-style reference lists for you, be sure to double-check these computer-generated lists, as they are not always completely accurate. Double-check the spelling of authors' names. and avoid common errors by paying attention to what elements should and should not be included, which words are capitalized and/or italicized, where punctuation goes, etc. This concludes the introduction to APA-style citations and references. Best wishes for your writing and research process.